Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Here is the course Chem 322 and I am your instructor Dr. Naila Khalid with a new topic, neighboring group participation. This is lecture number 6. So in this session, we will be able to understand the power of the neighboring group, how this neighboring group participate in certain or specific types of reactions and that generate unexpected reaction outcomes. Different types of products are obtained than expected one. And you will be able to spot some structural fragments, structural features that are responsible for the neighboring group as a neighboring group because these type of special structural features will be responsible for the participation of the group that is present neighbor to the reaction center. So you will also be able to draw the mechanism of such type of reactions which involve neighboring group participation to explain the reaction outcomes. So this is the part of your course. We have taken this from chapter number 1. So today's outline of our lecture is about the introduction to the neighboring group participation. What is neighboring group participation? What are different structural features which are responsible for the neighboring group participation? What mechanisms are involved when the neighboring group is participating during the nucleophilic substitution and special type of neighboring group in special cases with specific example will also be the part of this lecture. And of course, we will discuss the consequences, the results of the neighboring group participation. At the end, the summary of the major point. So first of all, I will introduce you what is neighboring group and what is its role during the reaction. First of all, any interaction which is developed between the reaction center and the group which is present neighbor to it. It may be at adjacent position or some other position, but in such a way that it can develop an interaction with the reaction center so that it can influence its further reaction. So it will attack on reaction center. So that is why influencing the removal of the leaving group. So that neighboring group may contain a pair of electron, an atom or group of atom which contain a pair of electron, or it may be a sigma bond in its special orientation. It may be a pi bond, or this pi bond may be in the form of double bond or benzene ring. This neighboring group participation is also known as anchimeric assistance. Anchimeric assistance. Why anchimeric assistance? Assistance means help, that is due to the presence of the adjacent neighboring group, and that is why due to this neighboring group which is present adjacent to the reaction center will influence its reaction rate. So this is also known as anchimeric assistance. Neighboring group participation, this neighboring group participation influences the rate of reaction. So it accelerates the reaction rate. So in the presence of neighboring group which is participating in the reaction will increase the reaction rate. However, if it is not present, then the reaction rate will be normal. So it also influences the stereochemistry, the stereochemical outcome. Due to the presence of neighboring group then and the observation of neighboring group participation, it has been observed that the stereochemical outcome is the retention of configuration rather than inversion. So in short, we can say a neighboring group is the participation is actually the interaction of a lone pair of electron or a pi electron of a neighboring atom or group of atom with a reaction center and during the chemical reaction leading to the formation of cyclic intermediate. So this assistance, this interaction is known as participation by the neighboring group. So it can be explained in this way. This neighboring group, this is pictorial representation. This is Z is a neighboring group. This may be alkene double bond. This may be a phenyl ring in the form of pi electron. And this may be in the form of any atom or group of atom which contain oxygen or nitrogen or sulfur because or halogen because all these heteroatoms contain lone pair of electron. That lone pair of electron or pi electron will interact with this reaction center and assisting in the removal of this leaving group. So when this leaving group leave and cyclic intermediate is formed and then the coming nucleophile will attack from the front side and this is open. So you will get a special type of product in which the nucleophile, this reaction center, it has retained its configuration. And this is assistance provided by this neighboring group. Participation of this neighboring group during the nucleophilic substitution. So that is why it is called neighboring group participation. So this neighboring group has special features. It may contain a lone pair of electron that may be a heteroatom, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen containing, that may be a pi electron in the form of a double bond or in the form of a phenyl ring. So this is an example of the neighboring group participation in which the heteroatom is present as a neighboring group and acting as neighboring group participant. So this is OAC, acetoxy group. It contains oxygen. This contains also electron. Here is tosylate group, toluene sulfonyl group, tosylate group, toluene sulfonyl group. So both are in such a position that they are opposite to each other. So you can see the stereochemistry. This electron pair will attack over here and this will leave the surface. This is very good leaving group. So if it is leave the surface as three-membered cyclic intermediate is formed. So that is why the coming nucleophile will attack from here and you will get the same configuration of this carbon. So here you will observe retention of configuration and with the relative reaction rate is 670. Instead of this isomer, you will see that in this isomer both are present above the plane. So there is are in a simple words are from on the same side. So that is why if you can find cyclic intermediate cyclohexane in a chair form, you will see the tosylate group is axial and one position and acetoxy group is also at axial at not axial, it is equatorial at this is equatorial at 2 position. So that is why because both are in the same plane, so there is no possibility for the participation of this group because this group is in the same plane. This is equatorial and this is axial. So the cyclic intermediate formation is not possible. So in case of reaction B, neighboring group is not participating in the reaction. So that is why the reaction rate is relatively very, very slow as compared to this one. You can write the mechanism of this one easily by forming the chair form of this cyclohexane. In this chair form of cyclohexane, you will see if this is below the plane, this is equatorial, and this is above the plane, this is also equatorial. So it can easily form a cyclic intermediate rather than this one. Another very simple example of heteroatom, which is present near to the reaction center. This is sulfur. It has electron pair, so it can interact. So that is why if it interact with the reaction center, this leaves the surface, cyclic intermediate is formed, and then nucleophilic substitution take place. Here there is no neighboring group, so the reaction rate is very, very slow, and it is 600 times fast. Here you can see the mechanism. Water is attacking as a nucleophile. This is substituting. This is simple SN2, and you will get SN2 reaction product, nucleophilic substituted product. But in this case, you will get that this sulfur with electron pair will interact with reaction center, and this will leave the surface, and this type of cyclic intermediate has been formed. Then this water will attack on this carbon, and this one will be opened, and you will get this nucleophilic substituted product, but that is due to the double SN2. Why? Because first nucleophile, internal nucleophile will attack over here. This will leave the surface. This is one first SN1, and then another nucleophile. This will attack over here, and this is opened. So second SN2. This type of reaction is 600 times faster than this one. Here is an example of the substrate which contain benzene ring. So benzene ring is also acting as a neighboring group, participating or interacting with the reaction center, and in this way, and this will leave the surface. This is tosylate group, toluene sulfonyl group. So it is when it is removed, so you will get this type of cyclic intermediate, which is resonance stabilized, as it is evident. This is phenoniumine, and this nucleophile will attack on this carbon, and this will come here, and you restore this aromaticity, and you will get this type of nucleophilic substituted product. Interaction of this neighboring group with reaction center is actually the neighboring group participation by this benzene ring. Here is an example of those groups which are carbon-carbon double bond. This carbon-carbon double bond will attack on this reaction center. An interaction developed with this carbon, and when an interaction developed with this carbon, this will leave the surface. And here, if you compare this reaction with this one, you will see there is no carbon-carbon double bond which can interact with the interaction center. So that is why you can see the huge difference in the reaction rate. Here in this case, you can see that the term in the previous example, this one, you can see the mechanism. Here is this double bond is interacting with this one. This leaves the surface, tosylate group, and then you will get acetoxy group will attack on this one, and you will get this type of product. So this type of non-classical carbocations are involved. Here, this attack over here, and this will be formed. Here is the positive charge. This positive charge is resonance stabilized, and that is why you will get this is non-classical carbocation, which is actually the correct, you can say the explanation. This is the resonance hybrid. So acetyl acid, this is acetic acid, acetoxy group will attack over here, another nucleophile. It is acting as a nucleophile, and you will get this type of product. So this is the mechanism of the reaction. So what are the results of neighboring group participation? Consequences of neighboring group participation. So that is anchimeric effect, means the rate of reaction is too much high, as we have discussed earlier. And you will also observe retention of configuration, although it is just like SN2, but you will not observe any inversion of configuration. You will see retention of configuration. And a sign substitution means there is some sort of rearrangement of the product. That is why the coming nucleophile may take the position near to the reaction center rather than the reaction center. So, first of all, anchimeric assistance. This term is actually related to the rate of the reaction. Those reactions in which a neighboring group is participating in the reaction, in the nucleophilic substitution, the rate of the reaction is very, very high. If the neighboring group is present, the rate of reaction is increased, tremendously increased. So it shows that it has an anchimeric effect or anchimeric assistance. This is an example. Here you can see hexyl chloride. So here you can see there is no neighboring group and it is hydrolysis product, nucleophilic substituted product. This is substituted with the OH. That is why it is called hydrolysis, hexyl chloride hydrolysis. If this type of substrate is there, this is a mustard gas. The structure of this mustard gas, this contains sulfur. And you know the carbon contains no electron pair, but the sulfur contains a lone pair. So this lone pair of electron containing heteroatom will interact with this carbon and electron along with the chloride in the form of chloride, it will leave the surface. A cyclic intermediate is formed and the coming nucleophile will attack on this carbon and then this is opened. So this type of reaction is due to the neighboring group participation. This is the neighboring group. So it is 700 times more faster than this one. So here are some other examples you can see on the screen. This is double bond assisting as a neighboring group. So you will get this non-classical carbocation and you will get this type of product. Instead of this, if there is no double bond, no anchimeric assistance, no neighboring group participation, then this type of substrate will show you can say very slow reaction. It is slower than this one. This is faster, 10 raised to the power 11 times faster. Similarly, here this double bond is acting as a neighboring group, interacting with this center, and this type of intermediate is formed, and then you will get nucleophilic substituted product. This is elimination product. So this type of nucleophilic substitution is 1200 times faster than the standard one. Similarly, this is also assisting and you will get this nucleophilic, intermediate, and this is also fast and 30 times more faster than the standard one. Here is an example of the pi. Here is an example of not the pi. This is the pi electrons of the benzene ring. So these two, here the 3-methyl group, here 3-phenyl group. So this reaction is faster than this one. How this rate of reaction is increased when there is neighboring group participation? This can be explained on this by this diagram. Here is the solvolysis of new pentyl chloride where there is no neighboring group. So the activation energy barrier is too much high. So you will get this ionization in a transition state, and so again rearrange transition state and then carbocation intermediate, and then you will get the product. But in this case, if your starting compound has a neighboring group, then this neighboring group will assist and will decrease the activation energy barrier. So here activation energy barrier is too high, decrease the energy barrier. So that is why it is accelerating the reaction rate. In case of triphenyl ethyl chloride, phenyl ring is acting as a participant, neighboring group participant. So that is why its activation energy barrier is low as compared to those in which there is no neighboring group participation. Similarly, second consequence of the this one is retention of configuration. In this case, retention of configuration means that as you know, there are this is two-step mechanism and two consecutive SN2 take place. So that is why two inversion leads to retention. Here you can explain this one. So this is our substrate which contain lone pair of electron, sulfur which contain lone pair of electron. It will interact with this one and this will leave the surface. And then azide will act as a nucleophile, will attack on this intermediate, and then this is open. So this is basically sulfur containing electron which contain electron pair. This can act as a neighboring group participant. So you can see that here in this example, this sulfur is no more contain a lone pair, but so that is why it will not act as a neighboring group. So this type of nucleophilic substitution, this will not assist, this will not interact with the reaction center. So instead of this, azide group will attack over here and chloride is removed. So that is why you will get this type of product. Here, this is also SO2. This is sulfone group. Here is also sulfone group. So you can see that this type of substrate where sulfur is acting as a neighboring group, it will attack over here. This lone pair is leaving this surface and you will get this type of cyclic intermediate. So you can, in this case, you can write this type of mechanism like this. So azide will attack over here and this will be opened and you will get this type of product, right? If here is also a nucleophile leaving group, so it can also interact over here and another azide can attack over here. So if there are two leaving groups, so consecutively this will be azide group comes here and azide group come here, another nucleophile. So you will say that in this reaction mechanism, this is the example taken from a paper, that it shows that the sulfur will interact not only from here, but it also interact from here. So first of all, is it interact from here, for example, a cyclic intermediate is formed and then azide will attack over here and this will leave the surface. So you will get this type of product. And then this sulfur will interact here and you will get this type of product. Here is the class activity. So this is para-bromo benzene sulfonyl group, BS. So OBS is also a very good leaving group. Acetylysis of this acetic acid से आपने इसको treat करना है. Then you will see that what type of product are formed. I will give you the hint that here this electron pair will, this sigma bond is interacting with reaction center because this sigma bond is entire to this one. It can assist over here, but this is not entire to this one, so it can assist over here. It cannot assist over here. So you can predict the product, how the acetylysis of this type of product is obtained. So last consequence is the sign substitution. Sign substitution means that in this case, if the neighboring group is present, there is some rearrangement of the expected rearrangement of the product. For example, if this is assisting over here, you will get this cyclic intermediate. And there is possibility that coming nucleophile, if it attacks over here, you will get this nucleophilic substituted product. And if it attacks over here, you will get a nucleophilic substituted product which is present on this carbon, a nucleophile present on this carbon. So if this happens, this is called sign substitution, and this is due to the rearrangement. So in the present session, we have discussed about the neighboring group participation, its consequences, and with some structural features responsible for the neighboring group participation and mechanism which are involved during this participation. So this is the end of the lecture.